heard a few stories about stuff that's happened back in the
I've
day.
heard a lot of good and bad stories, a lot of old school stories. I love the old school stories though, like they were badass.
Yeah.
Like that's one way to put it. It was badass the way they went about their racing, you know. You hear about my pops, like American trips. It's like, how cool is that? Like you just want to go out and do it really.
Yeah. I always like sort of think it's like a different time that they did it too. Like, you know, you sort of, I don't know, I don't want to say that they're this old, but you're probably like sending letters or something like that. Like I know a few old school guys who like would send letters to drivers to come to Australia and stuff like that. And it's like, you know, now we could just pick up the phone and, you know, at worst case is send an email or, you know, like you just directly contact someone in the comments on Instagram. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like you can make connections so easy like that. Which,
Definitely.
you know, those guys back then, they didn't have that sort of, you know, that structure wasn't there to do it. Like,
Yeah.
they're sort of literally going over there on like a whim kind of thing. Like, you know, yeah, it's pretty wild how, you know, they can get that sort of stuff done back in the day.
Yeah.
So,
It's pretty cool to hear how they came about it all. Like it's like literally you can go on social media now and go, oh, I like this team, these guys seem cool, and send them a message and they might let you crew for a weekend if you go over. And now, but like back when my pops were racing, you know, you'd fly over there, not know anyone, you show up with a race bag to this guy, you don't even know what he looks like, and you're like, you're the owner. But yeah, it's just so different how they used to do it. And then they'd probably get drunk all night, me, all these guys, and then next minute they're crewing for them the next night. Like, it's just so easy nowadays, but also hard at the same time.
yeah. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Like, Jamie Cobby was saying that he just went to California with his bag and he just went to the pits, was walking up and down the pits like, hey, I'm a racer from Australia. This is what I can do. This is what I've won. Like, you know, it's like, I can't picture anybody doing anything remotely close to that in this day and age.
Yeah, definitely.
Like,
It's like just so different. And like at least nowadays, if you did approach Corona, they could sort of look you up a bit more and look at your results, where you probably could walk up to them and go, I'm a national title winner, because they probably didn't hear anything from the ditch. Like they're like, what's Australia?
Yeah. I wonder if there is anyone who's gone over there and just blagged their way into a job. There'd have to be someone who's done it. Like, yeah, that'd be an interesting conversation to have. So, yeah. So where did you start out in?
I started out in quarter midgets. I started running like my Poppy Fly. He bought me a quarter midget and I just ran that. You had to run them when you were 5 years old, and I was like 4.5, and he got me a quarter midget, so we ran it out in like these streets at some factories and everything, and just ran some laps. And then eventually I went to Bacchus Marsh, ran some laps just on my own because I was still too young. And then once I turned 5, I went out in the field. I started off pretty successful, I think. You know, I had a couple wins in my first season, and then, geez, feels like a while ago now. I can't remember how old you are to go to 120s, but I moved up to 120s, had some success there. I think I got 10 feature wins in a row and some memorials and all that. And then when you're 12, you go up to the 160s, so I moved into them, had some good battles in that as well. Obviously, the driving style changes a little bit because you got that extra speed, even though it's nothing compared to what I run now, but back then it felt like a lot. And then I think we bought the Formula 500 when I was 12 or 13, and we just built it up. And then I think I had my first run when I was 13. I did like 4 races because COVID hit, and then we went to New Zealand, so I only did 4 races. And then we got power steering, and that definitely helped me, and I got, you know, top 5s here and there in my second season. And then the off season of that one, we bought brand new motor, new chassis and everything, and then I just straight out the bat, I was pretty much winning feature wins. I was in the top 3 every night. Like, I think I really did like an apprenticeship in every stage I went through, especially in the formulas. You know, maybe the package we didn't have was so good, but I still feel like you need to do an apprenticeship as well, just to get used to everything. And I think having those disadvantages, I guess, with the other chassis and motor package we had, I think that was pretty good for me as well, just to learn and go through it all. But once we got that new motor, new chassis, pretty much got the Speed Week Championship, Stampede Championship, feature wins here and there, pretty much a top 3 every night unless it was a DNF or something went wrong. And then this season I started in the Formula 500 Juniors and got my second Speed Week Championship, and then obviously we moved into the midgets Domain gave me my first run, which was really cool.